All right, good morning, everyone. It's Thursday morning again, December 3rd, 2020. Thank you so much for tuning in as always. I hope you're all doing great and staying safe wherever you are and ensuring that you're protecting yourself with well-known measures against COVID-19. Today, I want to talk about a few topics. One is COVID-19, of course. The other one, in connection with that, I want to talk about our rental assistance program. And then I also want to go briefly over some topics that arose over the last couple of days with respect to the disc golf course at Ryan Ranch. And I want to talk then about our city council, provide you with an update about what was going on there. And then at the end, give you a brief update about holiday activities. So with that, let me start with COVID-19. As you all know, COVID-19 spikes all across the country. Even in our county, you can see the numbers going up. This morning, I looked into the data provided by Monterey Health, our community hospital of the Monterey Peninsula, CHOMP. Presently, they have 22 patients, positive COVID-19 patients in the hospital. And unfortunately, the number of ICU patients jumped to 9. So that's a very significant increase for our Monterey Peninsula. So 22 patients inside CHOMP today, 9 of them are in the ICU unit. And what you see also in the state of California is similar trends. We will hit today 1.3 million infections in the state of California. And also, unfortunately, I think we will go beyond 19,500 fatalities in the state. 99% of Californians live in the most restrictive tiers right now. And the governor ordered last week, or the week before last, I believe, a curfew that basically requires folks to stay inside between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. And with that, he ordered Californians, or recommended to Californians to not conduct non-essential activities between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. What does this mean? It means basically that if you have to go shopping at 11 p.m. To a grocery store, you can do that. That's still an essential activity. If you have to walk your dog at night, or take your dog out between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m., that's also a permissible activity. But what the governor tries to curtail are basically activities that folks are congregating in areas where they can have alcoholic beverages or other entertainment opportunities, and basically after 10 p.m. nothing good happens, or whatever the saying is. His point basically is that he likes to curtail activities that may influence then the behavior of people to the degree that they are not acting anymore responsibly with respect to the COVID-19 pandemic. The curfew itself doesn't give a lot of enforcement opportunities to the local law enforcement agencies. And it is one of those things that the state has done over the past months since the outbreak of the pandemic, that they give a good guidances, but most of them are in a very difficult way to enforce, and so we have that challenge with this one as well. My personal opinion is all those folks who don't get it, that we have a highly infectious disease going through our country right now. No curfew of the world will change their behavior either. So with that, I can share with you that we expect that the governor will issue an imminent stay-at-home order. We haven't heard anything from the governor's office since Monday. And I've inquired also with Monterey County Health and have not heard back from them either. However, I think if you read the tea leaves and if you look at the numbers and if you listen carefully what the governor stated on Monday, I believe today may be the day that the governor may issue again a stay-at-home order or something else. Of course, the governor has seen what effects stay-at-home orders have. Of course, they flattened the curve. If you recall, these were the words that we issued in March and April. Meet the moment, flatten the curve. However, what we also learned, and what the governor also learned the hard way, is that this comes with large, huge economic losses. And of course, the governor and his advisors have to weigh all this against public health. I always state that the city of Monterey is looking first and foremost at public health and public safety, and that's our main task. But I can fully understand the challenges that the governor faces in coming up with a solution. The good news in all of that is whether he issues a stay-at-home order or not, whether that may affect outdoor dining or not. The good news is that there is definitely silver lining in place. We see that the vaccines are starting to be evaluated and hopefully approved by the FDA. The CDC is evaluating the vaccines. The FDA is allowing the rollout and will issue permits hopefully any day now. And then the rollout will start. We learned, or I learned through the media, that about 750,000 vaccines will be in the first wave rolled out by the federal government to the state of California. I think a total of 20 million dosages are being ready to roll out to all states in the nation. And those 750,000 dosages for California will be probably going first and foremost to those frontline workers, the healthcare workers. And as you know, when you have 9 folks in the ICU today at CHOMP, and when you have 20 in hospital care right now, or 22, I believe, in hospital care, those are the team members who need to have the vaccinations first. We need to protect the healthcare workers. But what I also understand is that in the first wave, also it's being contemplated to give the vaccines to those who are most vulnerable. These are folks with pre-existing conditions, and I believe also they are considering to providing the vaccines to the folks living in elder care facilities. So again, I try to stay on top of that. I try to get information from the county to hear what are the rollout options. How do you plan to roll it out, county? And I will keep you all informed. I share with you what I know today at the present time, and of course, this is all fluid and will develop over time. Okay, let me talk to about the next topic, which is connected, of course, to COVID-19. When we started our measures in March, we had 3 priorities identified. Number 1 was we wanted to remain functional as a local government. We wanted to ensure that you have a local government that provides you with all the services that you are used to getting, especially in public safety. Our number 2 item that we were looking for was that we wanted to provide already services. I apologize. We wanted to provide stimulus to different groups, and we created programs that included a rental assistance program. And number 3 was also that we wanted to remain transparent about everything that we are doing. And so I think we have done a good job in providing all this. And the rental assistance program, which we launched in August, and again, this is a program that is spending funding that comes from the housing programs that we have in the city of Monterey. Only a small portion is federally funded. The rest is funded through our existing housing stock that we are maintaining in the city of Monterey. We were required by the federal law to start that after a ramp-up period in August, and we started that in August. And I'm very pleased to report to you that so far we have helped 150 families or individuals with rental assistance, and we are paying the rent for up to 6 months for those folks that have qualified for that program. We funded that program with a little bit over $800,000. Right now, around 150 folks are, or exactly 150 folks, are receiving something like $415,000. So there is still a little bit over $400,000 in the bank that we can distribute. And the money gets distributed directly to the landlords. It does not go to the renters. It goes to the landlords to ensure, also in compliance with federal guidelines, that we have a tracking system in place where the actual funding goes. To create that program took a lot of effort, and to maintain that program as well, because if we are making a mistake, the federal government will not allow us to spend the housing program money on mistakes we make. So it is a great team effort in the back of our city hall, where a lot of folks are working on that. As you can imagine, paperwork has to be submitted. We have to use a bilingual staff that helps folks that do not completely understand the English language. And with all of that, I think we have been able to create a very efficient program, and I'm very proud of that. Now, I'm asking you, if you hear about someone who has a challenge in paying their rent, or should you have a problem with that as well, then please be so kind to contact us, contact our housing office, and let us know that we can help other renters. Like I said, we have over $415,000 in the bank still, and the rental assistance program is there to help folks. And it's a grant, it's not a loan, that nobody has to pay back the money to the city of Monterey, of course, unless if they are not submitting the correct documentation. That will be a challenge then for us. The other element about COVID-19 that I wanted to share with you is local businesses. You see that some or a lot local businesses are closing. And while we created a local economic stimulus plan, and we allocated $500,000 from the city's parking fund to that, plus $500,000 from the Title funds to make it $1 million to help local businesses in increments of $5, $10, or $15,000. Still, a few businesses are closing, and some of those businesses we actually supported with grants, and they have closed. Now, I'm really sad about seeing some businesses close. The Epsilon restaurant, for instance, was in its place for over 35 years, and it was a great place to have Greek food. They have been closed. A lot of other small businesses have been closed. However, there is also some sort of silver lining on the horizon, as well, as we are seeing other businesses moving into our downtown area on Alvarado Street as well. And that's good news. So there are businesses that are still investing in that, and I want to be very clear that we are very much committed as the city to help every single business to survive in one way or another. We have waived a lot of our fees for some of the measures that businesses need to be operational, like outdoor dining or operating out of parklets, etc. And we also try and strive to provide immediate new regulatory actions to keep those businesses functional. One of them was 2 weeks ago when we allowed outdoor space heaters also on the wharf. They have been banned until then, because for many good reasons, but we We found technical solutions that are also compliant with the fire code, and we switched immediately our um, uh, regulations to allow outdoor heaters. So we are very much trying to keep every single business open and alive. And of course, our hands are also tied to a certain degree. As you may also know, the city is a large property owner, and we have a lot of rental agreements, and we also provide on that line rent relief to those businesses who are asking us for rent relief, and we are negotiating with them as well to keep them as our tenant, or in other words, to keep those businesses also in our city. And from time to time, when you follow closely our agendas, these are real estate property negotiations. They take place in closed session, as they have to. But if you follow that, you will also see how many businesses we are trying to help and provide relief on that end as well. Of course, that leads to reductions in our income, in our revenues, in our general fund. But as anyone knows, it's good to have a tenant, and it's good if we can arrange with those tenants for solutions that will help us. Going now to the disc golf course at Ryan Ranch. The disc golf course at Ryan Ranch has a brief history that I like to talk about. The city of Monterey started looking into using that space, which is located in the vicinity of the CTB McGraw building out at an undeveloped area of Ryan Ranch in 2018. And what we tried to establish there was a solar farm, and we wanted to build a solar farm. And what we learned in March 2018 also, that there was a disc golf course operated with, I believe, 36 holes at that time. And what had happened was that the city of Monterey in 2005, 2006, 2007, around that time, had actually worked also with a disc golf course to allow tournaments there and allow disc golf activities there. And you can see that in our records with respect to the Parks and Rec Commission, who allowed certain activities there for a while. But what we also discovered in 2018 then was, unfortunately, that we had no legal agreement in place for using that space as a disc golf course. And what also came about out of that one, that the open space that was designated there had actually turned into an active use, so changed from a passive use to an active outdoor use. And in September 2018, we had talked a few times also with the golf course folks there. We went forward to find a compromise where we basically said, let's try to find a space for the disc golf course, and it's fine to find a space for the solar field. 2018 in September, then we had a council meeting. We presented as staff our proposal. And what happened at that meeting was also that a variety of folks came forward and vigorously explained to the council why that open space has value for them. And a lot of them came forward and explained how much they cherish the nature there, how much they cherish the birds living there, nesting there, and that potentially the protected California tiger salamander lives there, etc., etc. And out of that meeting, the council wisely decided to say, okay, we don't want to build a solar field there. And with that, the solar field that the council or that the staff had proposed was canceled. And we also had been put on notice by various folks that explained and spoke about the natural significance of that area. We were put on notice to look now a little bit closer into that habitat. And what we did then in September 2018, after that council meeting, we sat down with the disc golf course operators and said, look, we have to go now through various components of due diligence in order to be compliant with a lot of laws. And out of that came basically in November last year, we issued a mitigated negative declaration of biological significance for that place, which was published from August to November last year. It had to be written between January 2019 and August 2019. And we issued that and basically came up with mitigation measures. And we identified certain protective species there. We identified bird nesting areas in which activities can still be conducted, but certain other activities have to stop, like mowing or other things. And we published that in November 2019. And we had agreed with Disc Golf Course at the end of 2018 that we cease all operations until we have figured out the way how to operate an open space now as an active park. And with that, when you switch it from an open space to an active use, and disc golfing is an active use, there come a lot of other topics that are required for a local government to comply with. And this one of them is the American Disability Act, ADA. And you have to understand that with the Americans with Disabilities Act, you want to be inclusive. You have folks that want to play disc golf that might be falling under the ADA requirements, and so there have to be certain regulations in place. And what we did also at that time, we suggested to partner with the NCIP and create a capital project. That was also launched at that time, and with that, we felt we could sooner or later enter into a legal agreement with an operator for the disc golf course. Of course, you all know in March of this year, COVID-19 happened. And what we had to do also, we had to deappropriate about $9 million out of the NCIP funds in order to survive. And part of that money was originally dedicated towards the disc golf course. Now we had to take that money to just survive as a city of Monterey. So that's where we are right now. The disc golf course in 2018 collaborated very kindly with us and removed their equipment. And right now you've heard that their equipment has reappeared. The disc golf course indicated to us that they don't know who owns that equipment, but we will meet next week also with the disc golf operators, the previous disc golf operators, to talk to about the future of that place. We want to have disc golf course, the disc golf course back there. We understand that it has a huge value for a lot of folks. The point, though, was after we were put on notice about the environmental concerns, we had to go through the due diligence, and by opening it up into an active use, there are issues of inclusiveness. We have to include everyone who wants to play there and give possibilities for there. And so we are looking now and figuring that out. I want to reassure you that there will be a disc golf course for sure coming back. Given our current priorities, though, and given also that we have laid off most of our parks and recreation personnel, our capacities are very much limited. And of course, working on this competes with issues such as rental assistance programs, such as creating eviction moratoriums, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm looking forward meeting next week with them. Question was here, how much money was set aside? I believe the number was something of $40,000 to $45,000. Please don't hold my feet to the fire, but that's kind of what I remember. The park has to, in the end, work for everyone, and we need to find a way to address the issues of liabilities, ADA compliance, and mitigation measures to work in this environmental sensitive habitat. So I'm pretty sure we will figure it out. We have a good track record of being collaborative, and I'm very sure that this will be not a big topic. Unfortunately, of course, a course that was an alternative course at CSUMB has been closed as well, and CSUMB closed their course because of COVID-19 measures. And with that, a lot of the opportunities for disc golfers on the peninsula are restricted. And again, we have to weigh all the priorities that we have right now on our plate here in the city of Monterey. The next topic I want to talk about is give you a council update. The council was reinstated on Tuesday night. The election results basically brought back council members Albert and Councilmember Hoffa, and they reconfirmed Mayor Clyde Robertson for another 2-year term as mayor. All three were sworn in by our city clerk, and it was a ceremony that, like many other ceremonies, many other meetings, took place virtually. And I wanted to let you know also that Measure Y was on the mind of the elected officials, and with that, the significant tax increase of 2% for TOT. And we are very, very happy about the voters that they allowed us to increase the hotel tax starting January 1st by 2%, because the hotel tax is an integral part of our service levels, and it funds also the NCIP. And the NCIP, again, the Neighborhood Community Improvement Program, was one of those programs that takes 16% of the hotel tax and allocates that to neighborhood projects, projects like tennis courts, playgrounds, sidewalks, etc. But also, as I stated earlier, the disc golf course, for instance, is part of recreational activities. They are mainly funded also from the NCIP program. So the hotel tax was increased by 2%, and it was increased also with the intent to go back to all the previous projects that we had on our program list, reprioritize them, and get them back in. And I see still folks are talking about the disc golf course, and I want to reassure you that if we are starting the NCIP program again, we will make sure to suggest to those neighbors to put the disc golf course also as part of their first round of projects back into the project list. So that is a priority for us as well. I wanted to talk about the council talked about an eviction moratorium, and as you know, there's a lot of buzz in the media about what will happen if the eviction moratorium will expire by the end of January. And the state of California folks are afraid of a wave of evictions. And the council discussed Tuesday night whether or not to put a rent control measure and an eviction moratorium onto the next agenda. And the council, at the end, decided to revisit this item in January, because at that time the state moratorium may run out, and then we would basically look into opportunities for the city of Monterey to create local regulations with respect to evictions. And we had a very good discussion there with among the council members, and it became clear that we want to give the state an opportunity to give us statewide regulations in January, because we very much expect that the state legislature, as well as the governor, has to do something. If they don't, of course, we will create an eviction moratorium. Let me remind you, the last time we did this during the COVID time, we went ahead, created an eviction moratorium, and 2 days later, the governor issued a similar one. So in this case, we think the governor's office understands what is important and will probably act statewide. If not, we are ready to implement something in January. What I also presented to the council was a roadmap for the implementation of cannabis. I briefed you about this, I think, twice already, that the city council discussed in September to allow commercial cannabis operators to work in the city of Monterey. And we created a program, a roadmap that outlines all the various steps. And what is very, very important for me is, and to be frank, I haven't figured it out yet how to completely get to that end goal, but I want to have a process that allows every single one of you to contact, to be part of that discussion if you want to be part of that discussion. And the virtual reality in which we live right now makes it a lot harder. We cannot just hold a meeting and break out in working groups, etc. And we need to figure out a way how we can jointly talk to each other. It is very, very important that I get feedback from every single resident, from every single businesses, from neighborhood associations, etc., because it's important for me to go back to the council and tell them, look, council, here is what your constituents are actually thinking about that. And so it needs to be a roadmap that I called getting it right the first time. So it needs to be a roadmap that really ensures that everyone has a chance to talk and everyone has a chance to bring themselves in. Prop 64, that was the state proposition in 2016, which basically legalized the use of cannabis in the state of California. And one of the indicators was that in the city of Monterey, a majority of a little over 60%, I believe, voted in favor of cannabis legalization in the state of California. Now, we should not make the mistake to say that means also that neighbors want a cannabis operator next door in their business district. So that's very important for me. So we vote differently on statewide issues than on local issues. And you've seen those reactions from constituents in other cities on the peninsula. So I want to avoid that, and I want to make sure that we know what's going on with respect to cannabis. And I presented this 6-step program that I called out to the council and shared with them the various issues that I foresee. And we got good feedback back. And trust me, there will be a milestone where we will go back to the council and say, here's what your constituents are thinking. And it can range from we find everybody in support to there is a strong majority for it, or we have heard a lot of criticism. Maybe you should reconsider, and maybe you should do other steps before we press forward with the implementation. And again, this cannot go against the will of constituents, but in the end, as always, I have tremendous trust in council. I always tell our staff members, please keep in mind that our city council always makes wise decisions. And I really mean that, because at the end of the day, the council members are very much connected to the community, more so than any staff member. And I've learned over my years with the city of Monterey, and I think next year it's 24 years for the city of Monterey. I learned over those years that council decisions, even though we as staff sometimes did not completely understand the wisdom of that, turned out to be always good decisions. And so we will brief the council, and I'm pretty sure whatever the council will decide then will be the right decision, and we will move forward with that. Okay, so that concludes my council update. I wanted to talk briefly about the upcoming holidays. We have received a bunch of inquiries from different groups. What is going to happen? Will there be a tree lighting ceremony, etc.? I can tell you right now, in the spirit of COVID-19, there ain't any holiday celebrations that are organized by the city of Monterey. We need to stay separated. We need to stay safe. We need to do all the right precautions. Having said that, we have decorated our traditional holiday tree in front of Colton Hall. We put out our holiday displays as well that are in front of the tree and also in front of our office here at City Hall, the city manager's office. And we hope to spread some holiday joy there. The tree lighting ceremony will not take place as we usually have. I will miss that holiday opening ceremony because it really started for me emotionally, also the holidays. We have, on the other hand, created a wonderful photo opportunity that I really think you guys may want to cherish. Our Parks Division planted sometime in August, I believe, a new holiday tree in front of Colton Hall. Our current tree is getting old and is losing some of its symmetric branches, shall we say. It looks good at night, but it doesn't look so good during daytime. So we have to think ahead, and we planted a tree in August that hopefully in 15 years will be our new holiday tree. 15 years from now, that's how we plan for holiday trees. But having said that, right now that tree looks really like a very famous tree, the Charlie Brown tree. And our Parks Division found a few holiday ornaments and put them on the tree as well as some lights. And I think if you go there, you will find that this tree represents the best and the worst of 2020. And I think it might be a great photo opportunity. If you don't have your holiday cards ready, that tree captures that spirit of 2020. So with that, I'll see you again in 2 weeks, if not earlier. I thank you for everything that you are doing for our city. I thank you for every single feedback that we are receiving. This is very important for us to learn what your needs are and how we can help you. There is a silver lining in place. The numbers in the county don't look good whatsoever. I really, really, really ask you to stay for yourself, stay in your family units. Do not mix and mingle with folks you don't know. Make sure that our COVID-19 infection rates stay low. We will do our best to help and support that. And again, I am, like you are, hopeful that the vaccines will roll out soon and that we will get through that sooner than later. With that, thank you so much for listening to me. As always, you can reach me via email. We'll always respond to you. And I wish you all a great, great rest of Thursday. And stay safe, stay healthy wherever you are. Thank you so much for listening.